G'day and welcome to episode 18 of Travel Pointers, the podcast for Australian frequent flyers. It's the 1st of September 2025 and I'm Matt Graham, the editor of AFF.
And I'm Wilson McTaggart, a writer at AFF and part of the Frequent Flyer Concierge team.
Coming up in this episode, what makes a good hotel program and which hotel loyalty program should you use? We'll talk about our favourite ones, why we like them and how you can make the most of them. But first, just a few headlines from the past couple of weeks. Firstly, Qantas is removing the option to select points if you earn a loyalty bonus from the 15th of September, which means that you'll just automatically get 50 status credits each time you earn a loyalty bonus instead of being given the option to choose between that or 8,000 points. Qantas has announced it will extend its flights to Palau for another year, which is good news if you want to head up to Micronesia. Qantas has been flying once a week from Brisbane to Koror since the end of last year. And this is a really interesting stat, since they started doing this, visitor arrivals to Palau have increased by 113%, which is quite impressive. Qantas has resumed giving free upgrades for a limited time to Platinum and Platinum 1 frequent flyers, subject to availability, and they're going to keep doing this until the end of November. How it works basically is if there's still empty business class seats or first class seats, if you're in business, after Qantas has processed all of the points upgrades, then Qantas is just randomly giving some nice surprise freebie upgrades to Platinum members who are traveling alone. And KrisFlyer, unfortunately, has announced that they're making some significant-ish changes to their award charts and upgrades pricing. Wilson, what's going on here?
Yeah, so KrisFlyer have announced from the 1st of November that they'll change their award pricing pretty much across the board. I would say that the changes are quite minor. They're kind of in a similar vein to the recent Qantas changes we've seen. So economy class redemptions at the saver level, which is their lowest level, kind of like your standard awards. From Australia to Asia, they'll actually reduce in price by about 5%. In business class, it'll slightly increase by about 5%. The advantage award prices, which is awards that have more availability, but they have slightly higher pricing, they'll increase by between 10 and 15%, pretty much across the board. There is one sort of, I guess, bigger change. It's to a very popular redemption, which is to the Zone 10 award pricing point, which encompasses Africa, the Middle East, and Turkey. So wherever you're traveling from within the Singapore Airlines network to this zone, that will increase by between 10 and 20%, which, because it was so well priced before, they've seen this and they're trying to rectify it.
Yeah, so I guess in practice, in those regions, Singapore Airlines flies to Istanbul, Dubai, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. So those redemptions were very well priced, and they're kind of just being brought up to being like okay value along with the rest of the redemptions. I mean, yeah, it's not in and of itself a terrible kind of price increase, like 5 to 15% more or less across the board with those few exceptions. But it kind of like, for me, it's kind of like the death by a thousand cuts. Like, yes, as a standalone thing, 5 to 15% increase is not that drastic, but KrisFlyer has, like, it's become harder to earn the points, and like the transfer rates at which you can transfer points from most Australian credit card programs into KrisFlyer have increased in recent years. So, for example, if you have American Express points, you want to transfer them to KrisFlyer, the rate is now 3 to 1 instead of 2 to 1. So you need 50% more Amex points to get the same number of KrisFlyer miles. So they are harder to earn. And I mean, Singapore Airlines has kind of been progressively increasing its award chart prices over the last decade, really. So the last increase was 3 years ago. Before that, there was one about 3 years before that. And the changes. So over time, the program is becoming a bit less valuable. And like we talked recently about about how the Singapore Airlines program stacked up in our point valuations, which we talked about in a recent episode. Singapore Airlines, we actually valued, according to that model, KrisFlyer miles as being worth less than Qantas points and Velocity points, despite the fact that KrisFlyer is a very popular program. So this change is just going to make them is even going to bring it down even a little bit more. But I guess as long as Singapore Airlines still has good availability, that will still make the program very attractive. And I mean, being able to find multiple business and first class award seats on routes out of Australia to Singapore and then beyond is really attractive. Yeah, there's a couple of other things changing as well. There's access awards being introduced from November. They're going to be basically available on every flight, but at dynamic prices. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be very little value in those. I personally won't be using my miles on those. And there's a few ways now also to earn KrisFlyer Elite miles, which count towards status on the ground. Do you want to learn more about other frequent flyer programs beyond just Qantas and Velocity Frequent Flyer? Then join me next Monday night for the upcoming Australian Frequent Flyer webinar. It's going to be at 8 p.m, Monday the 8th of September, and the topic is Useful International Airline Programs in 2025. The webinar is available live to Platinum members, and Gold and Platinum members will be able to watch the replay. I hope to see you there. Well, we focus a lot of attention at Australian Frequent Flyer, obviously, on frequent flyer programs, but hotels are also a big part of the travel experience. I mean, when you're traveling, you do have to stay somewhere. I'm personally coming to you from a Holiday Inn at the moment while I record this. Wilson, you're also in a hotel somewhere in Italy, I think, as we record this. And I think it's worth having a bit of a chat about hotel loyalty programs because, like frequent flyer programs, they can make the travel experience a whole lot better when you stay at hotels. And like airline programs, some hotel loyalty programs are better than others. And if you know how to really take advantage of them, you can extract a lot of value out of those programs to make your stays a lot better and potentially also get some good value out of the points that you're earning. So that's the main topic for today's episode. And I think it's before we get into talking about specific programs, I think it's worth just explaining briefly what a hotel program is. I mean, obviously it's a loyalty program for a hotel chain. And I mean, there's a few sort of main hotel programs like Hilton Honors, IHG One Rewards, Accor, Marriott Bonvoy, and they're basically the program is usually covering a whole lot of different brands that make up part of that chain. So like with Marriott Bonvoy, you can earn and redeem points and earn status and nights and use your benefits at like all of about 30 or more than, how many, Wilson, maybe more than 30 different Marriott Bonvoy brands?
Yes, something like that.
What are they, like Sheraton?
The amount of brands that like hotel chains have nowadays has exploded recently. So yeah, it's like your Sheraton, your Marriott's, your W hotels, and then like I think
Moxie.
They have like Homes and Villas by Marriott or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot, yeah. And like with IHG One Rewards, like there's Holiday Inn, Voco, Intercontinental, Crown Plaza, Holiday Inn Express, Staybridge Suites. There's a whole bunch of other ones. And there's basically like two main aspects to most of these hotel programs. There's the points and then there's the status, and they're kind of independent of each other. Like a program that has a really good points program might have terrible status benefits, and vice versa. A program that is like really, really useful status benefits and the status is like easy to earn might have points that are kind of not worth that much. So they're kind of not related. And for me, status is really the main thing because I mean, pretty much all of the hotel loyalty programs give you points, and those points you can probably use towards free nights, or in a lot of cases you can transfer them into airline points. And I mean, I try to treat them just as an extra bonus. Like if I've got enough points, sometimes I'll use them on a night, or if I need to top up an airline account, like maybe I'm like 500 points short of an award in some random niche frequent flyer program, and I need to top up points, then it's kind of handy having some, like for example, some Marriott Bonvoy points just sitting in my account. Which I can transfer over to the airline as I need to. But for me, yeah, the deciding factor for me when choosing which hotel chains to use and where to stay is really the status aspect of the programs, because I find that if you have kind of a mid or top tier status with a hotel chain, you get looked after like really quite well, and you get lots of. For me, it's really about the tangible benefits, like things like free breakfast, access to late checkout, early check-in. Room upgrades, these are things that I value, and it's definitely nice to have even lounge access with some programs. In terms of points, though, Wilson, like the points with most hotel programs are like when you redeem them, the pricing has gone pretty much dynamic, except for one.
Yeah, that's right. So I think, maybe back in the day, maybe take 10, 15 years ago, a lot of programs did have award charts, or at the very least, they have sort of a defined range where you can redeem your points and you'll get more closer to more value out of your points. But now, as you said, the vast majority of programs have moved to dynamic pricing, which means you're going to struggle to get outsized value for your points, like using your like airline points for an award flight. I really like Hyatt or World of Hyatt, their program, for the specific reason that they still publish award charts. These are not technically fixed because they have an off-peak and peak pricing component. So there is technically 3 different point prices that a hotel can be at. They do change these prices once a year as well, and they'll publish a list of changes each year as well, which is obviously, it's not ideal that they change it, but at least they're quite transparent about it. And it does mean that you still can, I guess, get that outsized value for Hyatt points, where you can't really get that with other hotel chains, such as your IHG One Rewards or like very, very clearly Accor. Accor is just purely dynamic. It's the points have a fixed cent per point value, so you get what, €20 off for 2,000 core points or something like that.
I think it's €20 off for with that 1,000. So 2,000 core points would give you €40 off, which works out to be about 65 Australian dollars, depending on the exchange rate.
Yep.
It's literally just a cashback scheme in terms of the points.
Yes.
Yeah, and like with IHG, like you say, like the number of points you need for a given night is pretty much just tied to the cash price of the room. And so, like, you know, you could be looking at a hotel and it might be 29,000 points for one night, and then the next night it's 35,000 points, and the next night it's 20,000 points. And it's basically just about a half to 1 cent per point that you're getting. I remember back when IHG had point breaks, and you could like redeem for 5,000 points a night at, you know, a list of hotels that they publish every few months. Including the hotel where I'm sitting in right now. I remember when you could book this for 5,000 points now. If you book it now, it's probably going to be about 25,000 or 30,000 points a night. So,
wow.
Yeah, the points. They're, and this is the case, unfortunately, with like most of the programs now. Like I think Marriott and Hilton are about the same. The points, it's just dynamic pricing. It's pretty much tied to the cost of a room, and not particularly transparent, I might add as well. Like these programs, because they don't have award charts, they can just change the value you're getting for the points at any time. The status is a different thing, though. And I know yes. that you're also a fan of World of Hyatt in terms of status. This is so we've each picked our 2 favorite programs. Wilson, yours were World of Hyatt and Accor Live Limitless. They're the 2 programs that you particularly like. What do you like about World of Hyatt, first of all?
For me, the fact that the status is actually quite hard to earn is a good thing for me, and I realize that might sound a bit strange, so I need to explain this. The benefits for World of Hyatt top tier status, which they call globalist, and I don't want to get into the names of the status. They're a bit weird. They call their 3 elite tiers Discoverist, Explorist, and Globalist because.
I mean, I have my own names for these tiers, like elitist, and another one which I won't name here. But yes, it's just what I think of when I think of these names.
Yeah, exactly. The top tier, the globalist status, the benefits aren't, I guess, necessarily extraordinary on paper, but because it's quite hard to earn, you need to stay 60 nights in Hyatt hotels, or I think there's a point requirement, but it's so obscene that you're never going to get there. Because you actually have to do the stays, most people don't have it. And so when you do go to a Hyatt hotel with status, you get looked after because you are actually special. As I said, the benefits aren't like amazingly spectacular, but you get your free breakfast. You'll get room upgrades up to standard suites. These are obviously subject to availability. A 9 a.m. check-in, 4 p.m. checkout. But the key thing for me is that they're actually enforced. You can actually take advantage of these benefits. So that's, to me, more valuable than whatever appears on the website. And I guess there's a popular term, or maybe formerly popular term, being bon void.
Yeah, we should probably explain that. So bon void is the program of Marriott. Marriott has a lot of elites. So it's pretty easy to get Marriott status with the US credit cards, and a lot of their members are Americans who have the credit card, and they get one of the higher status tiers just from that. And so the result is you have so many elites that like you're actually really competing with like all the other elites staying at the same hotel at the same time for the upgrades and all the rest of the benefits, which are supposedly advertised but not actually honored. And like I've personally had, or I still have, I think, Marriott Gold status through a credit card, and I found, and that's not the highest tier; it's kind of a mid tier. But I found that even the advertised benefits are not honoured that often, and I've had to spend too much time arguing with the front desk at a Marriott hotel just to get benefits which are actually advertised, not extra things, even just stuff that's actually advertised as being something they'll provide with gold status. So I've even regularly checked into Marriott hotels and they just haven't had my membership on file at all. So it seems that their IT is a bit lacking as well. But yeah, that's kind of the problem when it's too easy to earn. Like the hotels you're not special, and the hotels don't really want to honor the benefits. And Marriott is also very poor, in my experience, at actually holding the hotels accountable for providing the benefits that are advertised through the Bonvoy program. So that's why, a program like Hyatt, which actually honors those benefits, is really useful. I've personally, one of my two favorite programs at the moment is Radisson Rewards, and this is a bit of a niche one. And because of historical reasons, this program doesn't actually operate in the Americas, so North or South America. Radisson hotels are part of the Choice Group, just some ownership issues. They had to split off a few years ago, but like in Europe, Middle East, Australia, Asia, I've found Africa as well. Like I found Radisson Reward status actually really good. And their top level, they only have two tiers. They have like premium and VIP. The premium one, you only need, I think, like 5 stays or something to get it. Or it might even be 5 nights and fewer stays. VIP, you need either 20 stays or 30 nights in a year. But I actually got this status last year through a status match, and it's been really good. Like I get treated in general like really well at Radisson hotels with that status tier. Like it doesn't seem like they have that many people. So kind of like what you're saying before with Hyatt, like there's not that many people that actually have this status. And so when you turn up at a hotel and you have the VIP tier, they actually upgrade you to a really good room. They proactively offer you late checkout. The breakfast is always provided, like things like this. And I've been pretty consistently like being able to get at least what's advertised, if not even more. Like I had an offer at one particular hotel of a very, very late checkout without me even having to ask for it. So, which is definitely not advertised on paper. So, I quite like that program. The other one that you like is Accor, Wilson.
Yeah, and Accor is a bit of a mixed bag, I guess, across the board. For stays in Asia Pacific, it's very valuable. Their top tier platinum is you get after 60 nights, but with Accor Plus, which we'll talk about a bit later, you can get 30 bonus nights. This year I got 30 bonus nights, but normally it is 20, but that's changing, and we'll cover those changes in a bit. Yeah. But the benefits you get in Asia Pacific are actually quite good. The main one being free breakfast with platinum status, which you don't get outside of the Asia Pacific region. I guess the reason I like Accor Live Limitless is mainly it suits my stay patterns well, which like I'm not personally in the market for like higher end hotels very often. I like them, of course. Most people do. But realistically, I need a bed and that's it. And sometimes a desk. So they have a really good range of cheap hotels like your Ibis. They also have a hostel chain, which only operates in Europe. Joe and Joe, yeah.
I have earned a few status nights.
Yeah, staying in a hostel. And for me personally, that suits me quite well. They obviously have high-end hotels as well, and the status recognition in these high-end hotels, your Sofotels, your M Gallery, is quite good. You do get breakfast if you have club lounge access, and the hotel has a club lounge as well, regardless of where you are. So outside of Asia Pacific. So that is also useful.
So with platinum status, you get the lounge access.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And their points aren't incredibly useful, but hey, they save you money. It's pretty simple to use.
Get a bit of cash back.
Exactly. I do also like their partnership with Qantas, which like it helps. It's nice to see, I guess, the double dipping of points in Accor. because when you stay with a core in Asia Pacific and you link your Qantas frequent flyer account, you can earn, I think it's 3 points per dollar spent.
And I think if you have status with both programs, or I think you have to have at least gold status with Qantas and some status with a core or something like this, but you also get a core points for taking Qantas flights,
Yeah,
which
I think
is
it's like
interesting.
one. It's like 1 point per $2 spent or something like that. So it's not huge amounts, but it's something.
Yeah, it's something. I keep getting little deposits of a core points in my account just from Qantas flights, and I mean it adds up, I guess, over time.
Yep.
Yeah, a core, their IT is not great. I not probably not the greatest fan of that for them for that reason, but like yeah, I do agree though. Like the strategy of like being able to earn status nights by staying at their kind of cheaper hotels and also through a core plus getting those extra nights really helps, and then using the benefits at the higher end hotels is like for me that's pretty much like the strategy that I use with IHG One Rewards, which is my sort of main hotel loyalty program, has been for years. I've got diamond status with IHG; it's the top level. I've also because I actually earned it through nights, I've also got lounge access as a milestone reward. So how it works with IHG, basically, like it's pretty easy to get at least platinum status because you can get it by signing up for an Intercontinental Ambassador paid membership, or you can get it with various different US credit cards. If you're American, and I mean a lot of their members are in the US, so that's just the reality. To get diamond status as well, you can get diamond status not easily, but it's possible to earn it just by like buying extra points with your night. Like you need 120,000 status qualifying points to get IHG Diamond. You can buy up to 5,000 extra points per night with your hotel room, and they count as elite qualifying points. So if you do this, what's that? 24 times, I think, if my maths is correct, then you already have diamond status. So from 24 nights, or you can also get it by staying 70 nights a year, or through a velocity match, which we'll get to short. No, not through a velocity match. That only gets you platinum. So yeah, so it is a little bit hard to. The real value for me though is having diamond in conjunction with the lounge access milestone reward. To get lounge access as a milestone reward, you actually have to stay 40 nights a year in IHG hotels. Um, and then you also have other milestone rewards for like actual first for staying nights, like suite upgrades and food and beverage credits and things like that. For me, the value in IHG is like kind of like you with the core. Like I earn quite a lot of the qualifying nights just at a Holiday Inn Express or Holiday Inn or like Ghana Hotel or some of their cheap ones. When on stays where I might be working or whatever, I just need a place to sleep and a desk with like, reliable internet. That's really like I'm not really fussy if I'm just traveling for work. But I do like being able to stay when I'm traveling for leisure or like being able to stay at an Intercontinental or a Crown Plaza with a lounge and enjoy all the benefits and enjoy the lounge access and enjoy the free breakfast and the room upgrades and things like that. Like that's nice. I value that. It's a good reward. Um, so yeah, so those are kind of the main programs. There's also Hilton Honors. That's probably the other main hotel loyalty program out there. What do you think of Hilton Honors as a program?
I mean, it's solid. The benefits are good. You can get free breakfast with gold status, which is sort of a mid tier status, which is I guess a bit rarer. And the big thing is that it's easy to earn, which I think we've sort of covered already. It's both a good and bad thing that if a status is easy to earn. Like you can get Hilton Gold for just having Amex Platinum cards or with a match from Velocity Gold, for example. In the US, there's a few different credit cards that you can get as well. And the problem with that is that if you go to a hotel similar to Marriott, you have to compete with all these other elites for benefits.
Yeah, and like I do really like that at a Radisson or an IHG hotel, for example, when you turn up with the top tier status, it actually means something. Kind of like what you're saying with Hyatt, like they really do like treat you well. Whereas at a Hilton, you can turn up with diamond status, and you're one of 500 people that checked in that day as diamond status. So it just it's the same status on paper, but it just yeah, like when everyone has status, no one has status, as the saying goes. So That's kind of the problem with Hilton. Although that said, like I find that Hiltons in general are kind of like a bit more expensive than other equivalent hotels. So you'd really want to be staying if you're going to stay there. You'd really want to have the status benefits because otherwise, I kind of feel like it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, a more of a problem with Hilton and Marriott and Hyatt as well. The hotels are more expensive than the hotels in IHG or Accor. So you kind of can't do that like trick of staying in cheap hotels to get the status. So you need status every time. You need your breakfast, your late checkouts, just to make the most of your money.
If you do really just want to enjoy, a few extra benefits through status, but without doing the stays or without even having to get a credit card, we should probably give a shout out to a program called GHA Discovery. I think that's Global Hotels Alliance. It's kind of a eclectic collection of different brands. It includes like Park Royal, Oaks, what else? And NH Hotels. Yeah, there's like I think there's about 40 or 50. Not necessarily big names, but it is incredibly easy to get status in the GHA Discovery program. All you need to do to get the top tier status is to stay at 3 different hotel brands in the chain. So you could stay one night at a Park Royal, one night at some other brand they have, and a third night at a different brand, and then you have their top status, and you get all the benefits that come with that. The only thing with GHA Discovery status is they only give you breakfast at selected brands, and it's not really that easy to work out which brands they are. So, little trick that I've fallen for before. But yeah, with the American Express Platinum card in Australia, you can get sort of mid-tier status in quite a few different programs. Like you get, I think, Hilton Gold, Marriott Gold, Radisson Premium. What else do you get? You get Accor Plus included. So you can already get some of those benefits, even just with that credit card. And there's even some programs that will give you benefits just for signing up to the program and booking direct. Like with IHG, you can get late checkout till 2 p.m. even if you just a base level member in that program. There's also, and we kind of alluded to this before, like if you have Velocity Gold or Platinum status, you can get a match over to your choice of IHG One Rewards or Hilton Honors status. So Velocity Gold is equivalent to IHG Gold or Hilton Gold, and Velocity Platinum gets you Diamond in Hilton or Platinum in IHG. In general, I would say that Hilton is probably going to be the better option if you're deciding which one to pick. It is just a once in a lifetime thing, though. So I guess make sure you're actually going to use the benefits if you do the match. And it's probably also worth mentioning that if you have status with one hotel program, they're usually quite generous at matching that like other programs will match that status quite often. So if you maybe have Hilton Diamond and you wanted to have status with, I don't know, Marriott or IHG or Radisson or whatever, you can often just write to them and say like, hey, I have Hilton Diamond, here's a picture of my card, can I have status please? And I'd say there's probably more than 50% chance, if you haven't already done a match recently, that they will let you have it for a year.
Yeah, exactly. Hilton actually publishes its a status match program. I think it's 12 nights in 90 days.
Oh, so that's like a challenge.
It's always published. It's pretty much constantly up. And yeah, you'll get a trial period. You have to stay a certain number of nights, and if you do that, you'll get the equivalent status. So it's pretty easy to earn. And I think you mentioned that you got your Radisson status with a status match as well.
Yep, I think that was a promotion that they were running at the time. It was pretty straightforward. I think though, even if there's not a promotion running, you can just write to them if you genuinely do already have status with another program. They might ask you to prove that you've earned your status through nights, which is, I think, very reasonable. But yep. Yeah, it's worth asking. Accor Plus is changing, so we mentioned briefly before Accor Plus. That is going to be changing from the 1st of October to all Accor Plus Explorer. Terrible name. I don't know who decided that was a catchier name than just Accor Plus, but there's a few changes coming there.
Yeah, so the first, I guess, major change would be that you get 30 bonus status nights instead of the usual 20. This 30 bonus status nights means you automatically get Accor Gold status, which
it's nice to have.
The other, I guess, major change for me was the changes to the Stay Plus benefits. So previously, a Core Plus would give you one Stay Plus certificate, which is basically equivalent to a free night, with a few restrictions. You have to have availability and things like that, but you get a free night within Asia Pacific. Now it's changing to two certificates. It's effectively a buy one night, get one night free. So you basically get two free nights, but you have to spread it over at least 4 nights total, which it could suit more people. It might not suit others. It depends on your situation, kind of thing.
Yeah, they can't really say anymore that you genuinely get a free night though, because it's a buy one get one free deal. It's not a here's a complimentary night that you can just use.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The dining discount you get with a Core Plus is also changing.
Yeah. Overall, do you think it's worth chasing hotel status? Should you be, basing your decisions on which hotels to stay at, or going out of your way to stay at hotels of particular chain over others, just in order to earn status with a hotel chain?
I, despite like my personal preference to chase status, I'm not as convinced of the value of hotel status versus airlines. And my reasoning is because there's so many more options for hotels and so many like hotel options that are not part of chains. And often these places are cheaper, or at the very least, they'll have a very different experience depending on the city. So it obviously depends on your stay patterns, especially if you're staying for work or whatever. But while like hotel status is very useful, I think going out of your way to chase it, I'm not nearly as convinced of the value.
Yeah, I think personally, like, I do value hotel status. So, like, and mainly not because I like to be told that I'm a diamond member when I check in. I think that's a bit of a, well, you can use your imagination what word I was going to use. I just it's practical. Like, I like the practical, tangible benefits you get, like the free breakfast, and like being able to check out at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., being able to check in at 9 a.m. after a red eye flight, like things like that. Like, it is good to have. There is a limit to how much extra I will spend, or how much out of my way I will go to stay at a hotel of that chain. I won't necessarily be willing to spend double on just to stay at a hotel that's part of a chain. In fact, I almost certainly would not. So I do stay at a mixture of hotels that are part of chains, and just regular other hotels that are not. And the other thing to mention probably is that you do have to book direct through the hotel, or through the hotel chain's website, to earn points and status nights, and also to enjoy the benefits of your status. And sometimes that does mean that you're paying more to do that, which could be more than compared to booking direct. Compared to booking through an online travel agent, or compared to just staying at a completely different hotel. To give you an example, I'm staying in a Holiday Inn right now, as I said before. I did consider staying at a Novotel, which is an Accor hotel in this city, for my stay tonight. That if I would have booked through the Accor website, it was like 20% more expensive than booking on Corners Hotels. And
Right.
I was thinking about booking on Corners Hotels, but if you do that, then of course you don't get the status night, you don't get any of the benefits of your Accor status. So in the end, the Holiday Inn was actually cheaper anyway than the Qantas Hotel's price. But so I am staying here, and I booked direct through IHG, and got actually quite a nice late checkout, which was very welcome. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's worth it to a point, but like, yeah, you have to think really about like if the marginal cost is worth it. And I think for me, a small marginal cost is, but there is a limit.
Yeah, and I guess very specifically, what benefits do you value from status? So if you're like traveling as a family of four and you can get free breakfast for everyone, that's incredibly valuable if you're staying in these hotels, which normally charge quite a lot. So you could be saving over $100 a day just in breakfast. If you don't like hotel breakfasts at all and you'd prefer to go get a coffee somewhere else, then it's going to be worth nothing. And same with like early check-ins, late checkouts. If you're traveling for leisure, you might not value these as much as someone who's traveling for work and needs a base of operations for the day. So really look at the benefits and how it'll affect you, and that's probably the best way of determining your decision.
Yeah, and I do probably put more emphasis onto choosing like a hotel chain where I have status if I know that I'm going to actually like need the late checkout. Like if I have a flight leaving at 6 a.m., I don't need free breakfast or a late checkout. So I'll probably just pick something that's more convenient to the airport and cheap, you know. But yeah, I guess that's the same for a lot of people. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 18 of Travel Pointers. I hope you found the discussion interesting. If you've got any comments or feedback, feel free to let us know on the Travel Pointers discussion thread. And of course, if you're enjoying this podcast, we would really appreciate if you could take just a moment to leave a review or rating on your preferred podcasting platform. We'll see you again for the next episode. And until then, happy flying.
Thanks for listening.